This is Dakota's 6th ride in the Western saddle, and the new thing that we have this time is I bought like saddle bags that go over the horn, and I just filled them with Timothy hay pellets. So I had been using like it's supposed to be like a cross like a body cross bag, shoulder bag. I don't know. It crosses over and like that's what I was using before, and I kind of turned it into like a little fanny pack type situation. Because it was large and I could fit a lot of food in it, but it would kind of get in the way too, especially with the Western saddle. So I just got little saddle bags that go over my horn and I can put reinforcement in them, and it worked out really well. So that's what I've got going on right now. They're just like cheap ones. I didn't need like the insulated ones or anything like that. It works out really good, and I definitely recommend if you ride Western, even if you ride English, like they have English saddlebags as well. I might get those for my English saddle as well, but it was really handy because I would only have a little bit of reinforcement. I definitely give really big handfuls, so I would always like run out at like not great times. So with this, I can put a lot in it, and it's easy. But I would make sure that your horse is desensitized to the saddlebags. Like she saw them, she sniffed them. I put them on and off the saddle when they're empty. She was totally fine with it. But Dakota doesn't care about a whole lot of things. So, and for a horse that's clicker trained, like they're probably fine with like the rustling, like you putting your hand in and rustling around, like that means food for them. So that's probably fine. But I just make sure you do all that stuff before you get on. Like I would do that from the ground first, just in case. Like for my Mustangs, I would have taken like many steps to get them used to it. But for her, she just doesn't really need it. So as I was describing the saddlebag, she just stood still. I was just reinforcing her from both sides. She seems totally fine. Standing still really nicely. Now we're going to back up a couple of steps. That looks great. She's not getting confused at all. She's listening to the cue, so that looks really nice. And the saddlebags are working good, so pretty happy with that. There, I'm asking her, or I'm asking her to turn her head because I clicked and reworded her for just stand still. So again, asking back up. There we go. Nice and soft. So I really like the setup that we have now. I think I've kind of figured out what it is that I want to use to teach her to ride. So like the only thing I would change right now is I need to start fading out that stationary target with the cone. Everything else I like the saddlebags and the handheld target. So those are all things that I'm going to keep for her specifically. But the Mustangs, we'll kind of play with it and see what works best for them. But again, reinforcing for standing still. Lots of reinforcement for staying still. So I'm gonna ask her to walk on. We didn't need to do any flexing this time. We're going to take more steps, go this other way here. Clicker and reinforce her here while she's going forward to the target. And then I'm going to reinforce her for just standing still. So here she can stand for about 7 seconds and reinforce her. That looks really nice. She's staying nice and connected with me. So again, reinforcing her staying still. So I'm asking her to go the other direction. There you go. And then she got confused. She's like, oh, well, I can go to this cone. So I maybe shouldn't have reinforced her for touching that, but I'm kind of just working on going to the side, and she did go to the left when I asked her to. So I just don't want to make that a habit of her going off and touching that. So then reinforcing her for staying still. I probably should have asked her to like keep going to the left so she was away from that stationary cone. So I just asked her to back up a little bit, and she responded really nicely. So again, less confusion. Like every session, she's like, "Oh, back up, okay. Oh, go forward, okay." So she's differentiating between the cues here. So that is a good sign. And I don't ride her that often either. Like she's getting ridden maybe a couple times a week, maybe. So it's very like sporadic. Sometimes we just do groundwork. It just really depends. So here she's waiting for about 12 seconds. She's waiting longer before I reinforce her. So now we're trying to build some duration with the standstill. I'm asking her to go off again. Really good. So that's working really nicely. And then again, I'm going to fade that target just like I faded out, like I'm going to fade the other one. And I've taken away the other cones, but I'm starting to ask her to walk on, and then I'll present the target so that she's kind of got that voice cue. And then I can use my leg cue if I want that as well. So I for her, like I'll probably have walk on and then I'll probably just maybe wave my legs a little bit or barely touch her sides with them, just as a tactile cue, because I do want that eventually. If I might want to do some like Western dressage with her. So whatever cue you want it to be, I would add that in before you present the target. So again, reinforcing for standing still, and she's not trying to turn back to that cone, so that's really good. And she just we just worked on walking, so she's not anticipating walking off. So I'm really, really happy with that. I'm clicking her here because she's put her head down. I do like when she's has her head down and she's more like she'll pick her head up and then look around and walk off. So that putting her head down, she's more like apt to stay there. Like that's kind of a sign that she's going to stay there. So I'm just going to reward her for that. And then again, more reinforcing for staying still. I'm going to say that a million times, but that's really important. And I should have done that when I first started her. I wouldn't have to do it as much now. So another quick little session, but she was very successful.